ultimately satisfying Krishna. So if I have relationships, let's say with my students, based on satisfying Krishna, then we'll be happy because we're not trying to satisfy each other or ourselves in the material conception of life. We're trying to satisfy Krishna. That we have this activity, we have this relationship, not to try to satisfy ourselves or each other, but to satisfy Krishna. So guess what happens then when Krishna is pleased? That we're automatically pleased. We don't have to try to extract enjoyment from one another. Because Krishna is the actual source of the kind of enjoyment that each of us finds most enjoyable. He's the reservoir of pleasure. Krishna. So the way it works is that everything we do, whether we have relationships or we have a job or we have certain activities or interests in life, whatever it is, we do it as service to Krishna. And then it becomes perfect. Then it becomes a source of joy. We're giving the same simple message over and over and over again. And yet still people write us and say, oh, I'm very confused. I have negative feelings about God. I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know if I can trust the devotee. You don't have to trust us. Trust Krishna. And just wherever you are, in whatever condition you are, whatever position you are, whatever state you are in, use that to serve Krishna, and it becomes perfect. See, if you're feeling confused, or you're feeling doubtful, or you're feeling hesitant, it simply means you don't understand this philosophy. It means you have misunderstood terminology. And if you clear your misunderstood words, your misunderstood terminology, then you'll find everything clears up and becomes very, very simple. This philosophy, I mean, it would be hard to make it simpler. Krishna says, just surrender to me and love me. What could be simpler than that? So, the thing is, we don't want to look at the fact that we have become crippled and unable to love. Just like today in the music lesson, it's very hard for us to admit that we cannot hear nicely. We cannot hear the musical intervals properly. And so it's very difficult to hit the pitches right and all of that. It's very, very difficult for us to admit that actually my hearing is defective. See? But what about our hearts? That's the real problem. Our hearts are defective. Our hearts have become crippled. We have lost the ability to love. Well, Srimati Radharani is the ultimate guru of love. She's showing how to love Krishna. And her mood in loving Krishna is that, let Krishna do whatever he likes. He is always my most worshipable beloved. See? Unconditional love. Unconditional. Not that we should aspire to get unconditional love, but we should aspire to give unconditional love. Did you ever read that story, a Christmas story by Dickens, about Ebenezer J. Scrooge? Scrooge is a miser. He's a penny-pinching miser. He's got so much money, but he keeps it all locked up in somewhere, and he never spends any of it, not even on his own pleasure. And so he's a miserable, cranky old man. On the other hand, the guy who works for him, Bob, is a very generous, open-hearted, loving family guy. Doesn't have much money, but whatever he gets, he spends on the happiness of his family members. And so he's rich in relationships. Whereas old Scrooge is a loner, you know, and a very dark soul, you know, a poor man. He's rich, but he's poor in terms of human values, you see? Why? Because he keeps all his money for himself and he doesn't spend it. Whereas Bob, who's poor financially is rich emotionally, because he gives everything that he gets in the service of his family. Of course, actually, we don't recommend that, but anyway. What we are saying is that we should give whatever we get, even though it may be little, in the service of Krishna. And if we do that, we find that we become rich. I mean, consider my situation. I have Mars exalted in my chart. Exactly, precisely, right dot on exalted. And every astrologer I've ever had to look at my chart has said, "Oh, you're rich, aren't you?" And I go, "No, not particularly. I mean, I have enough, you know, but I don't really want very much." And so, no, not rich. Don't have a big bank account or big investment or retirement or any of that, you know. And they go, "Well, I don't understand. You know, you've got all this stuff here. Karma, Dharma, Adipati Yoga by aspect on the 9th house with Jupiter in Scorpio and Mars exalted, and you should be like rolling in money. What's going on?" And I say, "Well, I don't really care for material wealth. I care more for spiritual wealth. And as a result, I have been blessed with a tremendous amount of spiritual wealth by my Guru Maharaj. But what do I do with it? I give it away. Every night I'm on TV trying to get people to do the same. Because guess what? We are wealthy. We are abundant. We have eternal life already. We don't have to do anything to get it. We already have it by constitution. Krishna created us that way. So we don't have to worry about salvation. We don't have to worry about eternal life or any of that. Krishna is in our hearts. He's with us every minute. He's helping us in so many different ways. If we would just see that, we would feel secure. We would feel like, I don't have any worries. Krishna's going to take care. And Krishna does take care. Like Jesus said, if the birds are eating and the lilies in the field, they have nice dress, then isn't God going to take care of you even better? You're his devotees. And of course, the answer is yes, he is going to take care. So we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about our personal maintenance. Forget everything you've been taught by ignorant people. It's not true. Right? The main thing, the main responsibility we have in this life is to serve Krishna. And if we do that, guess what? Krishna takes care of us. You know, I'll say it again and again and again and again. We are abundant. We are rich. We are all wealthy. We can afford to give our time and energy. We don't have to be like old Scrooge and keep every little last penny for ourselves and be afraid to spend it. We shouldn't try to get people to give us unconditional love, but we should give unconditional love to others, and Krishna should be the first person that we give it to. We should give our unconditional love to Krishna, and then spread this knowledge of Krishna consciousness to others. And then we'll find that automatically everything in our lives goes very nicely. We're the example here. We're somehow or other engaged fully in spreading Krishna consciousness, and because of this, Krishna takes care of us. We have no worries. And we work hard. We're not lazy. 24 hours a day we're engaged. But we're not nervous. We're not desperate. We're not worried. We're in a condition of abundance, affluence. And what is it that we have? We have Krishna. Who could want anything more than Krishna? So this is the real goal, and this is what Radharani is teaching by her personal example. So on this day of Radharani's appearance, we should honor that, and we should try to follow in her footsteps, because she's the original teacher of love. can read about Radharani in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Also, Nectar of Devotion, as we're studying today. So, speaking of Nectar of Devotion, chapter 31, additional symptoms. Now these are still the vyabhicārī bhavas. Oh boy, this is a long chapter. I don't think we'll be able to finish vyabhicārī bhavas tonight, but we'll start anyway. All the previously mentioned 33 symptoms of ecstatic love are called vyabhicārī, or disturbing. All these symptoms refer to apparently disturbed conditions.